back to the ScoBuff Sports Live Show. We hope you had a wonderful break. I'm your host, Gia Henriken.
And I'm your other host, Hannah Howell. We have some great sports to catch you up on, so let's get into it.
Over the holidays, Colorado introduced Fernando Lovo as its 7th athletic director in history. Lovo was hired from New Mexico to take over for Rick George and spoke to the media for the first time last week. He emphasized how he sees Boulder becoming a championship destination in the national landscape. Lovo attended both men's and women's basketball games in the past week and is already proving his promises for fan involvement and investment.
The Buffs will be represented in the upcoming 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympics in a way that seems only fitting. Ryder Sarchett, class of 2028, has been named to the United States Alpine Ski Team, becoming the 44th Olympian in Colorado ski team history. In Sarchett's freshman year alone, he won second-team honors in the All-American Slalom and Rocky Mountain Intercollegiate Ski Association. He will compete in the Alpine skiing competition, which begins on February 4th. Team USA's Alpine team will head to Milan in February, hoping to rebound after an 11th place finish at the previous Olympics in China.
As the transfer portal comes to a close, Colorado has experienced some significant losses. Top wide receiver Omarion Miller left for the Arizona State Sun Devils for his remaining season. Standout safety Tawfiq Bayar departed for Texas, and Imid did a defensive and London Merritt for Clemson. What may be the biggest loss of all is star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton. While his next destination remains unclear, his departure, along with several others, leaves Colorado facing a major rebuild heading into next season. For more on who the Buffs have brought in through the portal, here's Harrison and Shane with Buff Banter.
It's another year of big changes in Boulder. Alongside Shane Holcomb, I'm Harrison Simeon. Welcome to the first Buff Banter of 2026 and the first Buff Banter since the opening of the transfer portal window. It's been pretty chaotic, hasn't it?
That's right, and Deion Sanders, every single season it seems like he's bringing in a new roster, new faces to this Colorado Buffaloes team. We'll get into those key prospects today.
Yeah, 38 out, 36 in, the number 18 transfer portal class in the nation according to 24/7 Sports, number 4 in the Big 12. And just going down the list, it's pretty crazy. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 4 receivers, 1 tight end, 6 O-linemen, 11 D-linemen, 3 linebackers, 3 cornerbacks, 4 safeties, 1 kicker, and counting. It closes at the end of today. But Shane, who are your favorite portal additions so far?
Well, what stands out to me, Harrison, is the group of wide receivers they brought in, right?
Yes.
Highlighted by DeAndre Moore. He's coming in from Texas. He's a guy with a lot of big game experience in the SEC. He actually caught a touchdown pass as well against Arizona State, the Peach Bowl game last season. And this is a guy that's probably going to be your WR1 when it comes to Omarion Miller going out, DeAndre Moore coming in. He also has a relationship with Brennan Marion, the offensive coordinator that CU hired this offseason. He was recruited by him in 2022 when he went to Texas.
Yeah, the receivers look really good. They also brought in the nation's leading receiver from last year, Danny Scudero from San Jose State, Cam Perry from Miami of Ohio, Ernest Campbell from where Marion was at Sacramento State. The receivers look really good, but I'm looking at these D linemen, and they look great. Just all around, there's all sorts of D linemen that they got, both on the edge and in the interior. Santana Hopper from Tulane, my favorite of the bunch, all conference at Appalachian State, then all conference at Tulane last season where they made the college football playoff. A big contributor to that defense. Ezra Christensen, a star with 6 sacks at New Mexico State last season. Balansama Kamara, maybe a more under-the-radar name from UAlbany, but that's where Jared Verse, a rookie of the year in the NFL, came from. Maybe some development.
Shout out Central New York.
Yeah, a little lineage there. Toby Aneen was a beast at North Dakota State. Visited Colorado a couple years back with the Bison. And Dylan Manuel, a nice space eater in the middle at D-tackle. They needed a little bit of interior after the first few additions they got were on the edge, but I like these D linemen a lot.
Well, Harrison, the group of talent and the group of schools they're bringing in signals to me that they're taking a different approach than Colorado did last offseason, right? Because these guys are from maybe lesser known schools, but what encourages me is Deion Sanders and their coaching staff. They're telling the media they're spending a lot of time in the facility, doing the talent work, doing the film analysis. This shows me and gives me proof that they're doing what they're saying they're doing, because they're getting guys that maybe aren't the biggest of names, but all you can do, if you play football and you play it good, that could be the difference in this year's being better than last year's class.
Yeah, what impresses me is the production. Last year, the defense was just all around god-awful, and especially the D-line, where they got the most of their additions, it needed juice. The pass rush, not good. 2 years back, they led the Big 12 in sacks, but then all of a sudden falls off a cliff. They got some unlikely sources. They went to some unlikely places, but they got some all-conference guys, and we'll get into a few more of those later. But Shane, what position group do you feel like still might need some work heading into 2026?
What I'm looking at is the linebacker core, right? You mentioned the defense was super soft last season, especially over the middle of the field. They got Leona from Texas, who's a standout recruit, right? This is a guy who can be a leader in that locker room, but also on the field, right? It seems like teams were just figuring out and kind of just dismantling this Colorado defense last season over the middle of the field, whether that be the slant route or just running the ball with the quarterback, right? And Leona's a guy that, again, big name experience from Texas as well. He's someone that I think can hopefully bring some stability to this defense and make them a little bit more intimidating, right? I just don't think this team was intimidated at all to any offensive opponent last year. You saw that in the Big 12 play with 8 losses.
Yeah, another guy at linebacker I like a lot, Gideon ESPN is his middle name, Lamprin, from Bowling Green, extremely
what a birth
productive.
certificate. Wow.
I know.
I didn't see a proof of that, though.
One of the best names in Colorado history, in my
Wow.
opinion.
I love
But
that.
extremely productive at Bowling Green. Nice addition from the MAC. But my area of concern right now is cornerback. It's Deion Sanders. He's the greatest quarterback to ever live. But he still quite hasn't figured out how to recruit at that position. Last season, DJ McKinney having a really off year, stepping into that key cornerback role, the ex-receiver, guarder, and they still haven't found really a good replacement for him. Justin Eaglin from James Madison was a ball hawk, 5 interceptions last season, but they need that shutdown guy. They got Cree Thomas with some pedigree from Notre Dame. They got Emory Floyd, who was solid at Appalachian State and all Sun Belt honorable mention. But I still need to see, while the D-line could help as the pass rush gets to quarterback, helps out the cornerbacks a lot, but the secondary still might need some help going into the next year.
Well, that position group, Harrison, you mentioned it. I think it's the ultimate wild card, right? Again, this defense, they couldn't stop the run, but they also couldn't stop throws over the top, and it's because their corners weren't very good last season, right? So if they bring in a guy that's really talented and can help, another leader, hopefully can help this group. And again, Boo Carter's someone that you see him on the graphic there that, again, safety, but at the same time, this is also a guy who has a lot of leadership. He can be very talented and bring a lot of pedigree to this defense, right?
He's the X factor.
He might
of this
be
team.
the standout and kind of the wild card of this guy can be first, second team All-American next year.
And you saw Brennan Marion tease in an Instagram story that he could maybe put him at running back.
Yeah.
He did back in high school. This is a guy that Deion Sanders has wanted for years since he was coaching Jackson State.
Another great name.
Yes. And he moves different. He is an extremely talented athlete, one of the most gifted players, if you're looking just top to bottom on the roster, that Colorado will have going into next year. Can return kicks and can play safety, nickel, whatever you want. Randon Fonnet, another name in that safety room. The safety room, I saw some extremely good upgrades. Cornerback room still lacking though. But I want to get into this last little more broad question, just 30 seconds. What has been your opinion on the transfer portal and how Colorado is utilizing it? Are you concerned at all, or do you think it's just part of college football?
Well, I believe when I see it on the field, right? I mean, we put up the graphic earlier, 18th ranked transfer portal class in the country. They were 19th last season, Harrison, and that didn't turn out so well. But again, the difference in this year's, I think, approach is going out and finding the talent in lesser highlighted places. It means these coaches are watching film. If they play ball, if they bring physicality, if they bring confidence, this team could have a new look this season.
And I think that's where Brendan Marion comes in as an extremely important addition. He's been on the recruiting trail, but I think he could be the establishment of an identity for this team. And that's what makes it so hard with the portal era and bringing in an almost entirely new team every year. You can't really establish a culture or a set identity. And you saw Colorado struggle with that last year without Shedeur Sanders, without Travis Hunter. Without any stars, they didn't really have anything they did that could just be a go-to and beat teams that way. This year, I think there's a lot more stability, there's a lot more production and proven style that can translate to wins in the Big 12. So, anything more to add?
No, I'm excited. I mean, the spring game's the first time we're going to see these guys on the field, but, I mean, the portal's still open. So, if you're out there, you could use a corner right about now.
Yeah,
so.
they've lost some big names too,
Tawfik
Jordan
Byard.
Seaton, Tawfik Byard, Marion Miller, but they've got some great players. Going into next year, alongside Shane Holcomb, I'm Harrison Simeon. Thank you for listening to Buff Banner. Back to you guys at the desk.
Colorado's own Chris Hudson has been named to the College Football Hall of Fame. The quarterback played from 1991 to 94 and had a decorated senior season, ending with All-American honors and the Jim Thorpe Award. Hudson becomes the 12th Buff to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, joining a group with Coach Bill McCartney, Rashad Salam, and more. Along with being an All-American defender, Hudson returned punts all 4 years. He snagged 15 total interceptions during his time, taking 2 back to the house, and leads Colorado all-time in interception return yards.
The men's Hoopers have played 9 games since our last show. On December 6th, the Buffs lost their first game of the season to the Colorado State Rams, dropping to 8-1. Colorado finished conference play on a 2-game losing streak, falling to the Stanford Cardinals and the Northern Colorado Bears. The Buffaloes regrouped to start Big 12 play, winning games over Arizona State and Temp and Utah at home to push the record to 12-3. Most recently, the Black and Gold are on another 2-game losing streak. The last time Colorado played at home, the Buffs lost to the number 14 ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders by just 2 points. The Buffaloes have 14 conference games left to play, leaving them plenty of opportunities to rise in the standings.
The women's basketball team created a strong record of 12-6 over winter break with outstanding performances from Ziana Walker and Logan Greer. The Buffs pulled off an impressive upset of 19th ranked Iowa State in a close battle last Wednesday, winning 68-62. It was the Buffs' first win over a ranked opponent since last season.
And now it's time for this week's trivia question. The NFL divisional round kicks off this weekend, and a couple of Buffaloes are still in the fight to win the Super Bowl. Isaiah Oliver may have been the last Buffalo to play in the big game, but who was the last alum to win it all? Bonus points if you can name the year and team. Stick around as we'll have the answer for you later in the show.
Colorado women's basketball remains winless on the road. The Buffs went to Stillwater to take on the Oklahoma State Cowgirls last Sunday. Freshman Logan Greer and senior Jade Masagayo had 12 points each. Senior Ana El Dutoit posted her fourth double-double with 10 points and 11 rebounds. Despite these efforts, Colorado fell 63-56 to the Cowgirls after being tied going into the final quarter.
After the winless road trip, women's hoops returned home to face the number 19 ranked Iowa State Cyclones. The Buffaloes had the tall task of defending the nation's leading scorer in Audi Crooks. However, they made Audi play like a Mazda, holding her to a season-low 17 points with only 7 through the first 3 quarters. North Texas transfer Desiree Wooten and her best game in the black and gold, scoring 24, including 2 buzzer beaters. The Buffaloes were down as much as 12 at one point, but their game plan was executed to perfection for the upset dub.
Off their upset, CU travels down to Orlando to keep conference play flowing against the Central Florida Knights. The Knights are 9-8 overall, 1-5 in conference play this season. The Buffs are undefeated against UCF all time at 2-0. They won by a final score of 81-62 in their last matchup in January of last year. Both teams struggle on offense. CU averages around 69 points a game while UCF averages 67, so expect a low-scoring affair. The game is on Sunday at noon and will be streamed live on ESPN+.
The men's basketball team took on the number 14 Texas Tech Red Raiders on Saturday. The Buffs found themselves in a 24-point deficit shortly after halftime, but clawed their way back. Freshman guard Isaiah Johnson recorded 21 points in the second half and gave Colorado a chance to win the game on the final possession. However, guard Barrington Hargress's buzzer-beating shot was well defended and bounced off the right side of the rim. Colorado fell by a score of 73-71, and the Red Raiders escaped a major upset.
The men's basketball team lost to the Cincinnati Bearcats 77-68 on Wednesday night. The loss drops the Buffs to 2-2 in the Big 12, while handing the Bearcats their first conference win of the season. The Buffs struggled in the first half, allowing the Bearcats to shoot 57% from the floor in the first 20 minutes. Despite being down 18 points at halftime, Colorado continued to fight in the second half, cutting the deficit to as little as 4 points. Forward Baba Miller dominated the paint, scoring 25 points and grabbing 11 rebounds. Freshman Isaiah Johnson led the Buffaloes in points, with 18 on 70% from the floor.
The 12-5 Colorado Buffaloes are on the road facing the 11-6 West Virginia Mountaineers Saturday, January 17th at the WVU Coliseum. The Buffs are looking to bounce back after a tough road loss at Cincinnati, where the slow start pulled them from making a comeback in the second half. While West Virginia has lacked consistency this season, they are led by guard Honor Huff, averaging 17.5 points and a pressure defense that can pose another challenge. For Colorado, they will need to survive the tough road environment and rely on the exceptional offense in Isaiah Johnson and improve on the defensive field.
The 12-5 Colorado Buffaloes are set to host the 12-5 Kansas Jayhawks Tuesday, January 20th for pivotal conference matchup at the CU Event Center. This is anticipated to be one of the biggest games of the year for the Buffaloes as both teams sit even in the Big 12 standings. Kansas, coming off a high win, ending Iowa State's 16-game winning streak, are powered by efficient shooting paired with strong defensive stops. For the Buffs, they bring a high offensive output, averaging mid-80s points per game. With both teams looking to get ahead, Tuesday's 9 p.m. matchup is shaping up to be an exciting one.
Welcome to Folsom Feud. I'm your host, Colby, here with 3 contestants today, Lincoln, Balin, and Kieran. Lincoln, start us off.
I'll take game day etiquette for 200.
All right. This is the best way to show respect during the CU fight song.
What is standing, singing loud, and raising your hand in the hook 'em horn sign?
Not what we're looking for. Balin, you have an answer?
What is stand up, sing loud, and do the Ralphie horns?
Correct. Balin, the board is yours.
Give me tailgate traditions for 400.
All right, here's the answer. The must-have item to wear on game day to show your Buff pride. Kieran?
What is black and gold?
That's correct. Nothing says school spirit like those 2 colors. Choose the next one.
Let's do fan etiquette for 600.
Fan etiquette. The proper response when you hear someone yell, "Go Buffs."
What is skull, Buffs?
Skull Buffs is right. Looks like we've got some true Buffs fans here. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our contestants, and see you next time.
After a long winter break, the men's D1 hockey team returns to the Rec for a series against the University of Mary Marauders. The Buffs are coming off of 2 exhibition games against the Vale Yeti in which they lost both. Coming back into regular season play, the Buffs sit at 7-12-1 on the season for 9th, and the WCHL Colorado will be looking for revenge against the Marauders, who swept them in their previous series back in September. The games are at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Friday and 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Saturday as the Buffs look to stop Mary's 5-game win streak. The games will be streamed live right here on ScoBuff Sports.
The Red Hot men's D2 hockey team has a busy week with 4 straight game days against 4 separate opponents. The Buffs are 4-1 in their last 5 games and will look to keep their momentum going from their 3-1 win against Metro State Roadrunners last weekend. Up first are the Dakota College Batino Lumberjacks at 5 on Friday, then the East Texas Baptist Tigers at 3 on Saturday, the Providence Friars come to town on Sunday at 3. Lastly, Colorado hosts the Cal Golden Bears at 11 a.m. on Monday. All games will be held at the CU Rec Center and live streamed here on the ScoBuff Sports YouTube channel.
The women's hockey team emphatically took down the Denver Pioneers on Monday by a score of 7-2. The first line contributed to 3 goals at even strength, and the Buffs netted 2 on the power play. With that win, the Buffs moved up to 2nd in the WCHL, only 2 points behind Utah. The Buffs will be back on the ice this weekend for a pair of games against New Mexico. Stream live on ScoBuff Sports.
The CU ski team has kicked off its season with a strong Nordic and Alpine performances. The Buffs recently secured top finish in the RMISA qualifiers with Nordic racers on the podium and solid results across the board. Alpine alum Ryder Sarchet also earned a spot for the U.S. Olympic team for the 2026 Winter Games. With both Nordic and Alpine action ahead, Colorado looks to build on another competitive season.
The track and field team are hosting the Potts Invitational today and tomorrow. This is their 3rd event of the year, but the first at home. CU looks to keep things rolling as they host a total of 8 schools from around Colorado and Wyoming. Today's event started with women's long jump, and things will get moving tomorrow morning with the men's 60-meter hurdles.
The greatest goalkeeper in Colorado soccer history is staying home. Denver Summit FC of the NWSL has signed Jordan Nidis for its inaugural season. Nidus was a 2-time All-American and 2-time Big 12 Goalkeeper of the Year over 3 seasons in Boulder. Last fall, she set CU's single-season wins record and was one of 15 semifinalists for the Mac Hermann Trophy, college soccer's highest individual honor. The Aurora native joins former Buff star Taylor Flint on the Denver's first professional women's soccer team, set to begin play in March. The volleyball team closed their season back in December after a second-round loss to the Indiana in the NCAA tournament, but the accolades didn't stop coming for pin hitter Anna Barilovic. The junior was selected as an AVCA All-American third team and was also named to the AVCA All-West Region first team. This is the first time in her career to gain all the West Region and All-American honors.
3 former Buffs will take the field this weekend in the NFL divisional playoffs. Fullback Brady Russell will suit up first for the Seahawks on Saturday night against the 49ers. Then on Sunday, linebacker Nate Landman and defensive back Akella Witherspoon play for the Rams in LA's chance to get back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2022.
Colorado Buffaloes women's basketball had a 10-player roster turnover for the second straight season. However, this year, they added a French phenom.
She's been incredible. Honestly, she's one of the more reliable people I've ever been blessed to coach, and that's in every single area of her life. You know, she shows up every day with the same mindset, the same attitude.
Rhode Island transfer Anaël Dutat hails from Cesson, France, and has become JR's most reliable player. She averages a near double-double on 50% shooting, along with 4 offensive rebounds per game. But for Dutat, her contributions to the team is just being aggressive and grabbing some rebounds.
I try to be aggressive, especially on defense. Maybe I should be a little more aggressive on offense. And I try to play defense, get some rebound, get like extra possession and stuff.
While Dutat pulls down buku rebounds, she's not only in Boulder because of the hoops. She studies biomedical engineering and also happens to play basketball.
However, as a senior, her leadership role and aggressiveness is still developing.
I say I don't necessarily talk a lot, but then when I talk, like, they really listen to me because they care about what I'm going to say.
It's emerging, yeah. So, you know, just different philosophies. Like, she played for Rhode Island for 3 years where she had tremendous success. The team had a lot of success, but just sort of philosophically, I think they were a little bit more play it safe, you know, than we are. We're a little bit more, when in doubt, be aggressive, take a risk, go for it, we'll recover.
With her athleticism, the transition from Rhode Island to the Big 12 is much easier, but she still realizes some differences.
I say compared to maybe the A10, it's like when you make a mistake, like, they make you play right away. When, like, I guess maybe lower conferences, obviously it depends where you're playing and stuff, but you have more room to have like bad games sometimes.
However, in a team with new faces, Dutat has steadied the boat.
I think all of us, based like on where we come from, other teams, freshmen and stuff, we all bring like our own perspective. And I say that's also what I'm adding, like just my own perspective of like spending 3 years in the US and around school, but also like playing in France and stuff. So I guess I'll say like just a new perspective.
When she shows up exactly the same every single day, she's never high, she's never low, she just is totally reliable. I think young players, and even new players that aren't young, I think a new group needs people like that.
So, as the season progresses and the Buffaloes look for March glory, they're one step closer with AD. Xavier McNevitz, ScoBuff Sports.
Here we see Xavier McNevitz working on his reader for the live show. If we didn't have these readers done by Thursday night, chances are we would not be airing this show right now. Be like Xavier. Get your readers done. And don't forget to click save so that you don't lose any of your hard-earned work.
What's up, Buff fans? I'm Jackie Rivera, and I'm here with this week's Rapid Fire. To start us off, we have the track team. They are currently participating in the Potts Invitational at the practice fields today and tomorrow. Next up, we have men's basketball on the road in West Virginia. They play the Mountaineers at 4 p.m. on Saturday. That game will be on the CBS Sports Network. Sunday, we have the women's basketball team in Orlando, Florida against UCF at noon and will be streaming on ESPN+. Last, but certainly not least, we have men's D2 hockey, which plays against UC Berkeley on Monday at 11 a.m. in the CU Rec Center. So if you need something to do this holiday weekend, there are plenty of games to keep you busy. That's all for this week's Rapid Fire. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Jackie. It's time now for the answer to this week's trivia question. Earlier in the show, we asked you, who was the last Buffalo alum to win the Super Bowl? The answer is, drumroll please, Nate Solder. And bonus points if you guessed Super Bowl 53. This game is when the Patriots defeated the Los Angeles Rams in the lowest scoring Super Bowl in league history. Solder was Tom Brady's starting tackle for 7 seasons and is one of Colorado's most decorated alumni in sports.
Our tweet of the week comes from On3's Hayes Fawcett. After Jordan Seaton announced his entry into the transfer portal, Colorado fans were shocked by Seaton's announcement. Among those shocked was his teammate Julian Lewis, who commented, "Found a way to ruin my night," accompanied by a sad emoji. Seaton's departure leaves a large hole to fill in Colorado's offense.
Oh wait, no. This is mine. Oh, okay. Before we sign off, Sko Buff Sports is excited to announce the debut of our basketball live show. Our analysts will discuss the start to both the Buffs men's and women's seasons and debate their chances at making March Madness. Make sure to tune in for the premiere Wednesday night on our YouTube channel and look out on social media channels for more updates. As always, you can find us at SBS_CU on all platforms except for YouTube.
Well, thank you for joining our first live show back this semester.
It's been a pleasure being your host for today. We will see you here next week.
And as always,
you heard it here first.